Now, to discuss this further and the impact of the move, we have with us Jayan Krishna, who is a senior fellow at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. He's joining us live on this broadcast from New Delhi. What do you see as the short to medium impact of Foxconn withdrawing from the semiconductor venture with Vedanta?
See, I don't see this withdrawal as a permanent setback, because it will only delay the plans for a serious foray into semiconductor space, because they were all set to invest almost $19.5 billion, and the foundry was to be created. So the whole issue is we don't know why this happened, because neither of the two sides have really come out with the reasons. People are speculating, is it because of the skills shortage? Is it because of the capital inadequacy? Or is it because, the kind of discussions which were in progress with the government over PLI and other incentives that didn't take off well? Or there was a cultural mismatch between, Vedanta and Foxconn, or maybe, some people even say that, the group's inability to get a technology partner for part of the manufacturing value chain. So I think we don't know. So I think it will surely delay, India's foray into semiconductors. But given that the group has adequate financial resources and the muscle and the strength and the backing of the government of India, I'm sure some other partner they will be able to find in due course of time. And let's not forget, recently when the Prime Minister Modi had gone to the US, there was another commitment, from Micron for a major US chip maker, for chip assembly as well as testing investments in India, which in a few months' time would materialize. So I think it's not that it has derailed the process. Yes, it has slowed a bit, and I'm sure given the kind of commitment government of India has in its semiconductor mission, I think the country will be able to tide it over.
Right, sir. Now, just to understand this better, what does this decision mean for India's ambitions of becoming a semiconductor hub?
See, let us understand in semiconductor, no semiconductor unit in India can be viable just to take care of India's requirements, unless it meets a substantive part of the global demand and lots of exports. Substantive part, more than 80% of any significant investment in semiconductor in India has to be export centric, right? Because it is a very capital intensive investment and very technology intensive, and therefore it is very, very important that to understand that it's not that ever India will have hundreds of semiconductor manufacturers. There'll be a handful of, but very, very large scale with global ambition. So I think it is a temporary setback, because any such joint venture, not seeing the light of the day would mean that there'll be a delay of at least 6 months, if not in a year, in its before it kicks off, before Vedanta kicks off. But I'm sure, as I said, Micron is already there, and discussions are on between several groups and other global, chip manufacturers, for India. Leveraging India as a manufacturing destination, and India has seen during COVID, how laying all eggs in one basket or couple of baskets has really delayed the chip supply into for automobiles, for consumer electronics, for defense electronics, and so many different categories of products. So I think other than the usual suspects like Hong Kong, Taiwan, China, and so on and so forth, India is a very, very good, and eventually, I'm sure more investments would come, this temporary setback notwithstanding.
All right, so that being said, what do you see as the possible reasons for this withdrawal? Are regulatory issues in India to be blamed for this?
So I think none of the two parties have come out with any explanation. As I said, one reason could be that which some part of the media is also talking about, that the interface with the government for incentives, including the production-linked incentive, the PLI, didn't take off as well as the collaborators had expected, the joint venture partners had expected. I don't think capital adequacy or inadequacy will be an issue at all. Skills could be an area, because I think India has to, along with this mission, has to start, microelectronics education in a very, very big way at the undergrad, postgrad, doctorate level, as well as the skills level, short-term skills level. I think that is very, very important. Sometimes it could also be a cultural mismatch, between Foxconn and Vedanta, because they're two very different organizations into different lines of products. That's also a possibility, I somehow see the inability to find the European partner as a lesser reason. So it's anybody's guess what was the reason, but I'm pretty sure that it's a matter of time before Vedanta finds another credible partner having a global scale and ambition.
All right. Well, Mr. Jain Krishna, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast with your inputs on this.
Pleasure.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.